Well, good morning, and welcome to another episode of You and Me and Multiple Sclerosis. My name is Pam, and I've lived with MS for 37 years. Well, I told you in my last video that you might not see me again till 2022, but realized that I was telling you that I was going to start exercising, but I didn't really give you a lot of detail of what my plan was going to be. And I thought you might want to know, so I decided I'd put that together for you today. I'm, as you can tell, in rather casual attire, to say the least. I'm wearing the clothes that I exercised in. And before we begin to talk about what I actually am going to be doing, I just wanted to mention a couple of things that you need to keep in mind if you're going to be doing these exercises. Number one, you need to make sure that you're dressed in loose-fitting clothing, so that you don't feel all constricted in your range of motion, because a number of these exercises require you to bend and stretch and do different things. You can't really be wearing clothing that fits you too tightly. Another very important one is room temperature. Now, our living room would have been a very nice place to do some of these exercises, but the fireplace is going full bore and it would have been way too hot. So we ended up going into the bedroom where it was cooler. And I think that's something, especially for those of us with MS, we have to keep that in mind. And of course, stay hydrated all the way through this. Take breaks as you need to. You don't have to power through the whole set in one go. But one was really nice was that we got some snow last night, and so things were slowed down a bit. My husband was around a little bit in the morning, and he helped me step through this for the first time. And the other thing that I decided I was going to do was to follow some advice from Bob and Brad. They have a video that I'm going to link below. 7 stretching exercises that you need to do every night before bed. And they said you could also do it in the morning. The nice thing is that these are all exercises that you can do in bed. And that is in fact what I did this morning before I did these exercises. I think it's a very good idea to get yourself limbered up and psyched up for this, because, you know, as I said, exercise, I don't know about you, but it's not my favorite thing. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at that MS Trust website that I talked about in my last video, and I'll put the link in down below. You remember this in my last video, I was talking about how this website actually allows you to build your own exercise routine. And there are a lot of different categories. If you want to focus on certain areas, you can get the exercises that pertain. And so for me, I decided on 3 areas. I decided on stretching, strength, and balance. There are so many of these other ones that maybe I'll get to eventually, but I thought I'd start with these. And I'll just click on the one. So here's the balance section. And why don't we do this? I'm just going to download the whole thing into a PDF. Okay, so here's what the downloaded PDF file looks like. And it gives you the different exercises that go under the balance category. You can see that these are things that we would really like to be able to do when we have MS, and we have a little bit more of a struggle with it, although I dare say many other people in the population do as well. Right off the bat, we get feet together balance, not one of my favorite things, but as you scroll through, you see there's the heel to toe balance, there's the stepping balance, and there's the single leg balance, and the sit to stand. And those are the ones just for the balance section. So my husband helped me work through that this morning. We went through the balance one, the strength one, and the stretching one. And he was able to show me a few of them, because it was always good to see it modeled correctly before you attempt to do it in your own way. And I was really grateful for that. I also told him to be a really hard grader. I know that I'm not perfect at this. I know that I have a lot of room for improvement. So I'm really looking for him to help me get there. And he was very willing to help. It was a lot of fun, actually. It was kind of a fun bonding experience. So here we have the table that I created that will help me track how I'm going to be doing with my exercises. You can see that the date here, 12/20/21, is the day that I did the first batch. Important to note here is that we decided on a grading system, A through F. And I decided on that partly because I just have that kind of mindset. Maybe I'm just too, I don't know, student oriented or whatever. But when I was in school, I always wanted to get the A. And I worked really hard to get the A. And the last thing I wanted was to come home with a bad report card. So I preferred using letters rather than numbers. It just made more visceral sense to me. But so the grading would be A, I could do it easily. C, I could do it with difficulty. And F, I couldn't do it at all if my life depended on it. And then the other letters, of course, he could use if he felt that that was the more appropriate thing to put in there. So I'm not going to go through all of this. I think that would really be so tedious. You would just run screaming. But I just want you to see a couple of things here that as far as the stretching, I would have thought that I could have done a little better, but I didn't in many ways because I'm tight. Those C's, what they're telling you is, I'm tight. I don't have the range of motion that I really ought to have. And on my balance, now that was no surprise at all. In fact, I did a little better in a couple things than I thought I would. But you can see there's a lot of C's, minuses, and D's there. I am not good at balancing. Eyes open or closed. If I have nothing to hold on to, I get very off balance very easily. So that's obviously an area that I need to work on pretty hard. And then the third one, strength. You can see it's kind of a mixed bag, right? I mean, I even got an F down there at the bottom. So what was that one? I should take a look. What was number 26? And these refer, of course, to the exercises that are listed in the MS Trust website. Exercise 26 was leg lift. And it said that I was supposed to stand up straight with my feet slightly apart. And then I was supposed to lift my one leg and so balance essentially on the other leg. This did not go well for me. I could do it if I was holding on to something. And actually, we thought perhaps maybe to warm up and to get used to it, I think I should practice holding something because I'm just too tight. My ligaments have got to stretch before I can even think about doing it without holding on to something. But that's the rundown. Now you know the good, the bad, and the ugly. I might be still ambulatory, but I have a lot of work to do if I'm going to be physically fit. I can see that. Sitting in a chair all day long is not the answer to life's problems for me. So I'm going to be working on this. And actually, okay, believe it or not, I'm kind of excited about it. I have even maybe what they call an adrenaline rush from doing this. I'm just excited to embark on something new. And I really would appreciate your letting me know if you're going to be doing something similar this year. Are you going to do an exercise program that maybe goes beyond what you've done before? Are you going to track and measure things? Are you going to use the MS Trust website, or do you have some other routine? I would love to know what your resources are and what your plans are, and any other comments that you have. So that's all I have for you today. I'll let you go now, and maybe this time I really won't see you again until after the new year. Take care, Happy New Year, and I will see you again in my next video.